What if the anxiety you've been managing, the irritability you can't shake, the emotional spirals that seem to come out of nowhere? What if they weren't a mental health problem at all? What if they were a gut problem, a hormone problem, a blood sugar problem that nobody thought to check? Our guest today has spent 30 years at the intersection of body, mind, and spirit. And she is here to tell you that your emotions and your psychology are in constant conversation. And when you learn to listen to that conversation, everything changes. Welcome back.
Welcome to the Passion to Payday podcast.
We are your hosts, Becky Sampson and
Heather Laughter.
This is where stories turn into strategy and passion turns into profit.
Every episode, you'll hear how everyday women build real income doing what they love, and how you can too.
Turn your passions into paydays. Welcome to the show.
Well, welcome everybody back to another episode of the Passion to Payday. I'm Becky Sampson and
Heather Laughter.
It's been a few days and gosh, amazing what we've been able to accomplish in these last couple days.
Amazing. You are a whirlwind woman, and I'm keeping up with you.
Oh my gosh. Well, just to kind of put a little bug in everybody's ear. I mean, literally this last weekend, Heather came down and we spent the weekend. We got very little sleep. We're planning for the event next week, which is really, really exciting. This live virtual event that we have coming on. And we launched a new masterclass that we're going to be having on Friday, right?
Yep.
So stay tuned to the end. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. But Heather, as for right now, why don't you take it away?
Well, I love to. Our guest today is just one of those people that you meet, and she just shines a light so bright that you can't wait to see her again. Our guest today spent 30 years studying what most coaches completely skip: the relationship between your gut, your hormones, your blood sugar, and your emotional life. Kristen Smith is a certified life coach, the founder of Body and Spirit, and a woman who watched through her own personal fire, healing both her body and her marriage before she built a practice helping other women do the same thing. She doesn't just coach the mind, she coaches the whole system. Kristen, welcome to Passion to Payday.
Hi. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, we're excited. I know we met you like a month and a half ago at an event. We sat next to each other, and just like Heather said, my experience of you is that you really are a bundle of joy and peace and love. And that's really, when you're dealing with mind, body, and soul, I'm grateful to have met you because you are a walking testimony of what you teach.
Well, thank you so much.
So
That
yeah.
means so much.
So on the back end, so tell us kind of the backstory of what, because I think your story is actually amazing, because I think a lot of people that struggle in relationships and in marriages don't understand the very core of what is happening within their bodies that's affecting their mind. So tell everybody your backstory, because I think it's pretty fascinating, and the ahas that you had and how you were able to save your marriage through it.
Yeah. So my husband and I actually just celebrated our 30th anniversary this year.
Nice.
And yeah, so I have 4 daughters. 3 of them are married. So my daughters, their spouses, I've got 3 grandkids. We're all over because we were celebrating our anniversary. And there was a moment where I just had to sit back at that point and I was so grateful to be able to feel the joy that I was feeling at the time, because it hadn't always been that way. I mean, over the years, when my husband and I got married, there were some differences in how we were parenting, differences in our beliefs. And a lot of those things were causing a lot of conflict in our marriage. And for a lot of years, we struggled in our relationship. We did all the things and we were raising the kids the best we could. But there was a lot of conflict and a lot of fighting and a lot of, on my part, resentment that I was holding on to. And there was one moment where I was constantly praying, right? Like I had this faith that I had always believed that but in the back of my mind, I was praying all the time that he would change is what was happening, right? Like I knew that if he would be different and he would change and it was about him changing always, right? Like there was this prayer in my heart. I was always saying my prayers that his heart would be softened and he would change. And there was this one instance where I even had this necklace that I bought that says "Expect Miracles," and it was my reminder, right? That because I knew one day it would be okay. Like I had faith, and I knew that one day it would change. But in the meantime, like we were kind of miserable. It was really hard. And there was one day where I found myself in my closet, curled up in a ball, crying, like I did very frequently, almost every day. This was happening, and we'd had a fight or something. I can't remember what had happened, but I was in my closet. I was holding on to the necklace, and I was again praying that his heart would be softened. And I had this voice, this very distinct, small voice in my head that said, "You're praying for the wrong miracle." And it was interesting because I think at that point I had been doing a little bit of mindset work and coaching around some things. And I realized I knew exactly what that meant. I knew that it meant that it was me that I needed to work on and me that needed to change. The problem was I didn't really know how.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people recognize, I mean, we don't necessarily know because we're too close to it, that we may be the issue. And I know when we spoke and we met, was it then that you discovered that there was a combination or a connection to your gut health?
Yeah, it was shortly after that, right? So there was a realization at that point that it was me that needed to change. And so I started working on and paying more attention to what things that I needed to change. And as far as the gut health, I knew I had gut issues because I had stomach aches. I had terrible heartburn all the time. I mean, the doctors had given me heartburn medication, and they basically said I was going to be on it for the rest of my life. The anxiety and depression, right? Like I was finding myself crying all the time. And sometimes the crying was warranted, right? We got in a fight or something like that. But other times it was like my teenager said something rude or, like just the things that I should be able to emotionally work through that I wasn't able to work through it. So there was just a lot of things going on like that. And again, I had resorted to anxiety medication, which I think has its place, and it did help with not crying all the time, right? But I don't if any of you can relate or have been on anxiety or depression medicine before, it kind of takes away all the feeling. At least that's what it did for me, and I didn't like that either. It's like you're numb, right? It's like all the emotions and all the feeling is gone. So I didn't really love that. So I did. Interesting enough, like I started learning about the gut health and the physical aspect and all the connection between all of that. And for me, I feel like I said, I knew that I needed to change the way I was thinking about things. I needed to look at things in a bit more positive perspective, but it was really hard and I just didn't understand how. And it wasn't until I started actually getting some nutrients in my body. So I have a 30-year background in technology and education, and a lot of my career I've spent sitting at this desk, right? So I raised my 4 girls. For sure, that comes with a little bit of running around and doing all the busy work with the kids, but still, for the majority, I wasn't really taking care of myself. We were eating a lot of processed foods. We were busy running around all the time, but yet I sat at the desk all day, so I really wasn't getting very much exercise.
So I'm just curious, how did you take that point in your life and that realization and now create a Payday or a business around it?
Yeah, well, the company that I partner with as far as the gut health and a lot of the things that I learned about gut health from, they're very, very good at incentives. So when I first started, it was for me more about just me feeling better. And I started to get the nutrients in my body, and that was through supplementation at the time, right? And the supplements really started to put the nutrients in my body that I started to feel better. Like the stomach aches went away. I started to have more energy. I wasn't exhausted like I had been previously. And as I was consistent with getting that nutrition in my body, because I had more energy, I started to get up and move my body a little bit more. And really in the beginning, that just started with like walking around the neighborhood for 10 to 15 minutes, listening to a podcast or whatever, right? And I
Yeah.
started to do that more consistently. And as I did that, my body started to feel better. And it was so interesting because as I started to take care of my body physically, and I mean, when you don't feel well physically, you just really don't have the capacity to understand how to change your thoughts and how to work on your mindset, right? And so that's kind of the process that happened for me. I started to feel better physically, and then I started to work on my mindset. I did a lot of coaching. I did some group coaching where I was, I sat on the podcast and I listened to other people get coached. Every once in a while, I had a few one-on-one sessions, but still, and so like I feel like the knowledge was there and the learning was there, that I knew again that it was around my thoughts. It wasn't the circumstances that were causing my feelings, right? It was the way that I was thinking about the circumstances. And so I knew that.
And so now, like the clients that you've built a business around that. So not only the gut health, but also in helping relationships, save their relationships from that. So who's your ideal client now that you work with?
So my ideal client now is the woman or men. I have men clients, but women or men who they just aren't finding the joy in life. They aren't happy. They're struggling with the circumstances and the things that are happening in their life, but they don't know how to fix it. They know that things need to change, but they're struggling on figuring out how to change those things. And really one of the key things for me was figuring out how to let go of some of the emotions that I've been holding on to, right? So number one thing for me was physical. Number two was understanding and being aware of my thoughts. But it wasn't really until I actually was able to learn the tools to clear out all the things that I've been holding on to from all of those years and get rid of the triggers, right? Because my husband and I, even after I'd gone through some of these steps of understanding that I needed to think differently, like we'd still get into places where it was very similar to the arguments that we've been in over the years. And my body, my nervous system, right, was just holding on to all of this stuff that I'd automatically be triggered again. And so I'd be yelling and crying. And I didn't understand that it was because I was still holding on to the things that had happened before. And when I was able to like go back and let go of that, and what's so amazing about it is it doesn't take very long. Like sometimes you feel like you have to go to therapy after therapy after therapy after therapy, but really our minds are these beautiful machines that if you can learn how to do it in the right way, you can let go of all that stuff in an instant.
That's the difference between therapy and coaching to me.
Yes.
In therapy, we kind of sit in the past and try to resolve it. In coaching, we're like, this is here, this is right now. Let's move forward. Let's go on. And that's one of the ways you can let go.
That's what I do now is I help my clients. Yeah. I help my clients through that process. And again, like it's rather quick. It doesn't take a long time. So it's easy to get the transformation. I feel like for me, I was still trying to learn how to do it. I was piecing everything together. So it took me a few years in order to get through that process. But I can help clients walk through it in 3 to 6 months, and they're like, I love that. My favorite thing is to have somebody sign up as, like enroll somebody as a client and start and just to watch the transformation happen. It's so rewarding. I
think that's the most rewarding thing about any kind of coaching is the transformation, right? And knowing that we make a difference. And that's the thing is that there's so many coaches out there that can identify it, and they're like, they know they have a gift and they know they have the ability. They just don't know how to turn that into a payday and actually turn it into a business. And because a lot of coaches are like, well, I don't know, can I charge for that? I'm like, yes, of course you can charge for that. So what's working well in your business right now?
Just the clientele. Like I have a wait list, and I have, I still have a corporate job too that I'm doing full time. So I'm kind of doing both. So just balancing both of those has been a little bit of a challenge, but I love it so much. And I love being able to, like I said, I just love being able to help people make the transformation in their life. So I feel like it's going so good. And I love social media. That's one thing I always like to point out because I think it's so fun. I love posting. I love all of the, like just being able to get out there and make an impact. Even I feel like with social media, for me, it's about being able to share some of these things that I've learned and I don't even feel like I'm going to ever know like what if it's even impacting anyone. But yet I do have people message me that are like, thank you for your content. Thank you for sharing, you know, and that is so rewarding, again, to be able to just know that I'm just making a little teeny bit of a difference.
So do you work mostly one-on-one? Is that what you mostly do?
Yeah, mostly one-on-one. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Tell us your biggest business success so far.
Oh, my business. Oh, let's see. Well, again, I think it's just the transformation. I mean, I could pick each individual client, right? Just watching those individual clients make those transformations. So I feel like that's my biggest.
That's awesome.
Helping people live a joyful life, right? There's no reason why you have to be so miserable.
Yeah, I love that you deal with a lot of, it's more a holistic approach on that. Let me just ask you too, what would make your 2026 your best year ever when it comes to business?
The best year ever. I have a hard time. I have a hard time knowing, because there's part of me that, like, I love my corporate job. It's also in education, right? Like I coordinate the certification exams for Autodesk products. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but like for auto architecture and engineering. And we're working on projects now that have been our projects that I've wanted to do forever. And it's so rewarding and I love it. And like I said, I'm also doing coaching at the same time, but I think I would at some point in the future like to get to the point where I could let go of the corporate job and help more people individually. So
it sounds like that's your real passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of people that feel like they're in that hallway, as I call it. Right. And which is totally fine, which is completely fine.
Yeah.
I love that you have that desire to do that though.
Yeah. It's good.
Go ahead, Heather.
We have one last question for you. This is the secret question. But we love it because we get such great, authentic answers. So tell us, what does passion to payday really mean to you?
Passion to payday. Well, I think I had to work quite a bit on my mindset around charging people for the things that I'm helping them with. Because like I said, I still love to just do it for free. And there's a part of me that sometimes is still like, oh, let me just do it. But in my experience, I feel like I was a lot more committed to my own transformation when I invested in that, right? So
I think your dog's invested too.
Somebody's walking out the front door. Anyways, that's the reason I think that I love that, because I think people do have to invest in order to be committed to their own transformation, right? And so for me, and then also being able to understand that what I am providing is an exchange of value, right? And it is valuable. Exactly. It is worth it. And because it doesn't take very much time. Like, I spend thousands of dollars on therapy and all this.
Kristen, we're having a hard time. Sorry, we're having a hard time. So I want to just kind of wrap that up, because what she just said was so important. I think people, and this is something that we really are going to talk a lot about at our event coming up, is because coaches get stuck in that realm, because we have such hearts of gold and hearts of service that we feel like we can't charge what we're worth in order to get the transformation. And then we end up getting stuck on that bottom level of like, we aren't able to be financially taken care of. They're not able to have the transformations that we know that they're able to. I know many years ago, I heard the phrase from Tony Robbins that said, I don't need your money. I need your commitment. And your commitment is attached to your money. And it is very true. I think Heather and I both have experienced this on a tremendously personal level, that we just want to serve, and serving someone without it being an equal exchange of value is I mean, everybody seems to have, it's kind of like what we all have to go through, but yeah, I mean, we're talking about stopping the insanity and really getting to that point where you're now a professional and you can move up and really get paid for the passion that you have. So Kristen, thank you so much for being willing to come on today. We are excited about the work that you're doing, and it will be interesting to see your journey, to see where you go and all the transformations that you are going to have. So thank you. Thank you.
And thanks again for having me on. This is such a great opportunity.
Yeah, and absolutely. And let me just put real quick, you're down at the very bottom. You can contact Kristen there, and also in all the show notes, you can contact her, reach out to her. She's got a couple of videos that have gone viral, she told me recently. So go look for those as well, because it shows her vulnerable side in regards to how her story and the things that she's struggled with affected her marriage and how she's been able to turn that around. So thank you again, Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen. You're doing great work.
Yes, exactly. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. Oh, and by the way, our masterclass, right? Where is it? I don't know where it is. The QR code up there. If you want to come to our Passion to Payday and find out how do you take your passion to payday and turn it into a career, how do you get paid for the value that you have? We're doing a free masterclass on Friday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's all online. So go there and register, and we'll see you on the next show.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Passion to Payday podcast.
If you're overwhelmed, spinning your wheels, and not seeing the income you want, there's a good chance you're undercharging for what you do.
We're going to change that. So join us live at our upcoming virtual event, May 13th through 15th, where together we'll build your high-ticket offer so your passion finally pays you back.
Save your spot today,
because your passion deserves a payday.